In the world of Caesar, men and women search endlessly for power, for wealth, for fame, convinced that these external achievements will bring fulfillment. They look to others with envy, believing that somehow those others were given gifts that they themselves were denied. What a tragic misunderstanding of the true nature of being. For I tell you now, there is no one walking this earth who has been denied the full measure of spiritual gifts. The only difference between those who manifest their desires and those who do not is awareness of who they truly are. When I speak of spiritual gifts, I am not speaking of psychic abilities or supernatural talents, though these may indeed manifest as you awaken to your true nature. No, the spiritual gifts I speak of are far more fundamental, far more powerful. They are the gifts of imagination, of consciousness, of I amness itself. These are the gifts through which all things are possible, through which worlds are created and destroyed, through which the very fabric of your experience is woven. The first and perhaps greatest of these gifts is the gift of imagination. Not idle fantasy or daydreaming, but true conscious controlled imagination. The very creative power of God himself. Man is all imagination and God is man that exists in us and we in him. The eternal body of man is the imagination and that is God himself. These words reveal the awesome truth of your being. Your imagination is not something you possess, it is what you are. It is the divine creative principle operating through you, as you. Let me share with you a profound truth that many fail to grasp. Your imagination is not bound by the laws of this world. It transcends time and space. In your imagination, you can be anywhere, do anything, possess anything, and be anything. And what you consciously imagine with feeling, with conviction, with the assumption of reality, this must objectify itself in your world. This is not wishful thinking or positive psychology. This is the fundamental law of being. Consider for a moment how you have used this gift throughout your life. Every experience you have ever had was first imagined. Every relationship, every job, every home, every success, and yes, every failure, all were preceded by acts of imagination. You have been using this gift continuously, but perhaps unconsciously, allowing habitual patterns of thought to shape your experience, rather than consciously directing your imaginative power. Tonight, I urge you to recognize this gift and begin using it deliberately. For when you know that your imagination is God's creative power operating within you, you will approach it with reverence and intention. You will carefully guard the portals of your mind, allowing only those images and assumptions that align with your desires to take root. The second spiritual gift that lies dormant in most is the gift of assumption. This gift is closely related to imagination but deserves special attention. For it is not enough merely to imagine a state. One must assume the feeling of that state's reality. And assumption, though false, it persisted and will harden into fact. This is the secret of manifestation that has been hidden in plain sight throughout the ages. When you assume a state, you clothe yourself in it. You think from it, not of it. You do not say, one day I will be wealthy or one day I will be healthy. No, in assumption you declare, I am wealthy now or I am healthy now. And though your senses may deny it, though the world may contradict, if you persist in this assumption, it must externalize itself in your experience. For the world is nothing more than the externalization of states that you have assumed. Let me illustrate this principle. A man came to me in dire financial straits. His business was failing, his debts mounting, and his family in need. I asked him, if your circumstances were exactly as you desire them to be, how would you feel? What would you say to yourself? How would you walk and talk? He described to me a state of confidence, security, and abundance. I told him, for the next 3 weeks before you sleep, assume that state. Feel its reality. Go to sleep in the assumption that you are now the man you desire to be. Do not question how this transformation will occur. Simply persist in the assumption. 4 weeks later, this same man returned to me, his face radiant with joy. Without any conscious effort on his part, circumstances had rearranged themselves. A forgotten debt was repaid to him, providing immediate relief. Then an opportunity arose that perfectly matched his skills, offering far greater compensation than his failing business. His financial situation had completely reversed, not through struggle and effort, but through the faithful application of the law of assumption. This example illustrates an important truth about your spiritual gifts. They operate according to law, not chance or favor. Just as the law of gravity does not choose whom to affect based on worthiness, the law of consciousness is impartial and exact. What you assume with feeling, you must experience. It is not a matter of deserving, but of applying the law correctly. The third spiritual gift I wish to discuss tonight is the gift of attention. Your attention is a sacred force, a focusing of consciousness that brings life to whatever it touches. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. What you attend to grows and flourishes in your experience. Most people squander this gift, allowing their attention to be captured by problems, limitations, and fears. They feed these unwanted conditions with the life-giving power of their attention, and then wonder why such conditions persist and expand in their lives. I tell you now, withdraw your attention from what you do not wish to experience and place it lovingly on what you desire to be true. This requires discipline, for the senses in the world will constantly attempt to reclaim your attention. When conditions appear to contradict your desire, it is tempting to focus on those conditions. But remember, the outer world is only a shadow, a reflection of past states of consciousness. To change the reflection, you must change what is being reflected, your state of consciousness. Practice regularly the art of attention control. When negative thoughts arise, gently but firmly redirect your attention to your desired state. Do not fight unwanted thoughts, for what you resist persists. Simply withdraw your attention from them and place it elsewhere. In time, this practice becomes natural, and you will find yourself dwelling more and more in states that align with your desires. The fourth spiritual gift that lies within you is the gift of speech, not ordinary speech, but inner speech, the continuous conversation you have with yourself. Your inner dialogue shapes your experience more powerfully than any external force. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. These ancient words point to the creative power of your habitual thoughts and inner conversations. Listen carefully to what you say to yourself throughout the day. Are you affirming lack or abundance? Health or illness? Success or failure? Love or loneliness? Your inner speech reveals the assumptions you hold about yourself and your world. And these assumptions, as we have discussed, solidify into your experience. Transform your inner conversations deliberately. Instead of saying, I can't afford this, say, I am now choosing how to allocate my abundant resources. Instead of lamenting, why am I always sick? Affirm, I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Let your inner speech reflect not what appears to be, but what you desire to be. Create inner conversations with others in which they congratulate you on your good fortune, recognize your success, or acknowledge the fulfillment of your desires. Hear these conversations clearly and feel their reality. Your inner ear must hear, and your inner emotions must feel the truth of these conversations. When this is accomplished, your external world must conform. The fifth spiritual gift I wish to bring to your awareness is the gift of gratitude. True gratitude is not merely being thankful for what you have received. It is the profound knowing that what you desire is already yours. It is the feeling that accompanies the fulfillment of desire before that fulfillment is visible to the senses. When you pray, you must believe that you have received and you shall receive. This is the secret of effective prayer, to give thanks for what is yours before it appears in the world of form. This attitude of gratitude positions you in the consciousness of having rather than wanting. And from that consciousness, your desire must manifest. Each night before you sleep, count your blessings. Give thanks not only for what is already manifest in your life, but for what is still in the process of manifestation. Feel the gratitude that would be yours if your desires were already fulfilled. This feeling of gratitude, sustained and deepened, accelerates the manifestation of your desires in ways that the limited mind cannot comprehend. I recall a woman who desperately wanted a child but had been told by medical experts that she could not conceive. Instead of accepting this verdict, she began to give thanks each night for her beautiful baby. She would imagine holding the child, feeling its weight in her arms, smelling its sweet scent, and hearing its gentle breathing. Her gratitude was so complete, so real, that tears would often stream down her face as she fell asleep in a state of thanksgiving. Medical opinion notwithstanding, within a year, she held in her arms the child she had already embraced in her imagination. Her gratitude had opened channels that her conscious mind could not have devised. This is the power of true gratitude. It acknowledges the fulfillment of desire in the realm of imagination, which is the reality from which all visible manifestation flows. The sixth spiritual gift I wish to discuss is the gift of forgiveness. Many misunderstand this gift, viewing it as something we bestow upon others who have wronged us. But true forgiveness is self-forgiveness, the release of all states that do not serve your highest expression. To forgive is to give as before, to return to your natural state of wholeness state. It is to release yourself from the bondage of negative emotions, resentments, and limiting beliefs. When you truly forgive, you free yourself from the past and open yourself to the infinite possibilities of the present moment. Forgiveness is not about condoning harmful actions or remaining in harmful situations. It is about freeing your consciousness from attachment to what has been, so that you may create what is to be. It is recognizing that whatever has occurred in your experience, you have played a role in its creation through your states of consciousness. This recognition is not to assign blame, but to empower you with the knowledge that if you created it once through unconscious use of youth or spiritual gifts, you can create differently through conscious use of these same gifts. Practice forgiveness daily. Before sleep, review your day and forgive yourself for any lapses into negative states. Forgive others not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free of the burden of unforgiveness. Remember, what you fail to forgive in others remains active in your own consciousness, continuing to create effects in your life. The seventh and perhaps most profound spiritual gift is the gift of silence. The ability to still the chattering mind and enter the silence of pure awareness. In this silence, you commune directly with the source of all being. Be still and know that I am God. This injunction points to the transformative power of silence. In the silence, the illusions of separation and limitation dissolve. You recognize your oneness with all that is. You experience yourself not as a fragment seeking wholeness, but as the wholeness itself, individualized but not separate. From this awareness, true creation becomes possible. Not the manipulation of existing conditions, but the bringing forth of the genuinely new from the infinite potential of pure consciousness. Practice entering the silence daily. Set aside time to simply be without striving to achieve or attain anything. Allow thoughts to arise and pass without attachment or resistance. Gradually, the gaps between thoughts will lengthen, and in these gaps, you will encounter your true self, the I Am presence that is the source of all your spiritual gifts. Now, having outlined these 7 spiritual gifts, imagination, assumption, attention, speech, gratitude, forgiveness, and silence, I wish to emphasize that they are not separate faculties, but different aspects of your divine nature. They work together harmoniously when you recognize and consciously employ them. The tragedy of human experience is not that we lack these gifts, but that we use them unconsciously, often to create what we do not desire. The man who constantly imagines failure, assumes a state of worthlessness, attends to his limitations, speaks internally of his bad luck, feels no gratitude, harbors resentments, and never enters the silence. This man is using his spiritual gifts to create a life of disappointment and limitation. And the law, being impersonal and exact, delivers precisely what he has created in consciousness. Conversely, the man who consciously employs these gifts, who imagines vividly what he desires to experience, who assumes the feeling of his wish fulfilled, who places his attention on the reality of his desire rather than its absence, who conducts inner conversations reflecting his success, who feels genuine gratitude for blessings received and anticipated, who forgives himself and others completely, and who regularly enters the silence of pure being, this man must experience the externalization of these states in his visible world. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates the combined power of these gifts. Years ago, I desired to travel to New York to share these teachings, but I lacked the financial means to make the journey. Rather than focusing on this limitation, I employed my spiritual gifts consciously. I imagined standing before an audience in New York, sharing these principles with clarity and impact. I assumed the feeling of already being there, feeling the cool autumn air of the city, hearing the distinctive sounds of urban life. I placed my attention not on my current location, but on my desired destination. My inner conversations were with friends in New York, discussing the success of my talks. I felt profound gratitude for this opportunity to share truth with seeking souls. I forgave myself for any doubt or fear that arose. And in the silence of meditation, I knew the truth of my being, unbounded by space or circumstance. Within 3 weeks, without any effort on my part, I received a letter from a man I had never met, inviting me to come to New York at his expense to share my understanding of these principles. The way was made where there had seemed to be no way. The invisible became visible, not through struggle, but through the conscious use of spiritual gifts. This experience, one of many similar manifestations in my life, confirmed what I had already known intellectually. These principles are not theories or beliefs, but laws as reliable as gravity. When properly understood and applied, they never fail. I tell you this not to impress you, but to impress upon you the reality and the reliability of these gifts that slumber within you. Whatever your current circumstances, whatever limitations appear to bind you, you possess the power to transform your experience completely. Not through external effort or manipulation of circumstances, but through the conscious use of your spiritual gifts. Some of you may be thinking, but I have tried to use these principles and they did not work for me. To this I must respond, the law never fails. If your desired state has not manifested, one of several things has occurred. You may have returned to your old state of consciousness after briefly visiting the new. You may have been divided in your consciousness, affirming one thing while feeling another, or you may not have given the seed sufficient time to grow into manifestation. Remember, between the planting of a seed and the reaping of its harvest, there is a time interval. This interval is not for God's convenience, but for yours. To test your faith and to strengthen your ability to persist in the state, despite apparent contradictions. During this interval, you must not dig up the seed of your desire through doubt or impatience. Water it with expectancy, nurture it with faith, and protect it from the weeds of contrary thoughts and feelings. Another obstacle to the manifestation of your desires is the how. Many become fixated on how their desire will be fulfilled, limiting the intelligence to their narrow conception of possibilities. The how is not your concern. Your task is to define the what, the state you desire to experience, and then to enter that state through the conscious use of your spiritual gifts. The infinite intelligence, which is your own wonderful human imagination, will then devise the means for its manifestation in ways that you could never have conceived. Consider the example of a young artist who came to me despairing of ever achieving recognition for his work. He had talent but lacked connections in the art world and the means to promote his art effectively. I advised him to imagine a scene that would imply the fulfillment of his desire, in his case, attending his own successful gallery opening, receiving congratulations from admirers of his work. Each night he would enact this scene in his imagination, feeling the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment of seeing his art appreciated. He assumed the state of a successful artist, directed his attention to this reality rather than his current obscurity, engaged in inner conversations with art critics praising his unique vision, felt genuine gratitude for his success, forgave himself for doubts and past failures, and entered the silence where he knew himself as pure creative expression. 6 months passed with no apparent change in his circumstances. Then, through a series of events that no one could have anticipated, his work was seen by a prominent gallery owner who was struck by its originality. An exhibition was arranged, leading to sales and commissions that established him firmly in the art world. The very scene he had enacted in imagination materialized in physical reality, not through his striving, but through his state of consciousness. What this artist discovered, and what I hope you will discover tonight, is that your spiritual gifts are not means to an end. They are the end itself. For what you seek is not ultimately things or circumstances, but states of being, states of joy, peace, fulfillment, love. These states are available to you now regardless of external conditions through the conscious use of your spiritual gifts. The outer world will conform to these inner states, but do not make the mistake of thinking that it is the outer conditions that will bring you what you seek. It is always the inner state that is primary. The kingdom of God is within you. All that you desire, all the love, abundance, health, success, joy exists now within you as states of consciousness. Your task is not to create these states, but to enter them through the doorway of imagination and assumption. Let me be clear. I am not advocating escapism or denial of present reality. I am pointing to the deeper truth that what appears as reality is simply the outpicturing of past states of consciousness. To change your reality, you must first change your consciousness. This is not to ignore current conditions, but to recognize their source and thus gain the power to transform them. Tonight, I challenge you to begin a new relationship with your spiritual gifts. No longer will you use them unconsciously, creating by default rather than design. From this moment forward, you will employ them deliberately with full awareness of their creative power. Begin with a single desire, something you truly wish to experience. It need not be grandiose. Indeed, it is often best to start with something believable, yet beyond your current means of attainment. Then, employ your spiritual gifts in the service of this desire. Use your imagination to create a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it short, specific, and symbolic of the state fulfilled. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. How would you feel if it were true now? Capture that feeling and sustain it. Direct your attention away from contrary evidence and toward the reality of your desire. What you focus on expands in your experience. Transform your inner speech to reflect your desire as already fulfilled. Hear yourself saying what you would say and others saying what they would say if your desire were now a fact. Feel sincere gratitude for the fulfillment of your desire in the unseen reality of imagination, knowing that what is true there must in time become true here. Forgive yourself for any doubt, fear, or contradiction that arises. Release all past failures and limitations through the power of forgiveness. Enter the silence regularly, communing with the source of all manifestation and knowing yourself as one with that source. Practice these principles not as techniques to get something, but as expressions of your divine nature. For in truth, you are not using spiritual gifts. You are recognizing and expressing what you already are. As you persist in this practice, you will begin to experience what the mystics of all traditions have described: a life lived from within out, a life in which external conditions no longer dictate your state of being, but rather reflect the state you have consciously chosen. This is the promise and the reality of your spiritual gifts. They are not separate from you. They are not bestowed upon some and withheld from others. They are the very essence of your being, the means through which the infinite expresses itself as the finite, the eternal as the temporal, the formless as form. You have never been without these gifts. Even in your most limited and constricted states, you have been using them to create precisely those limitations and constrictions. The difference now is that you will use them consciously, deliberately, in alignment with your desires rather than your fears. As you leave this place tonight, carry with you this truth. You are not a human being seeking spiritual awakening. You are a spiritual being who has temporarily forgotten your true nature. Your spiritual gifts are the means by which you remember and express who you truly are. Use them wisely, use them lovingly, use them constantly. For as you do, you will discover that the outer world, which once seemed so solid and resistant to your desires, is in fact as fluid and responsive as your own consciousness. You will experience the truth of these words: all that you behold, though it appears without, it is within, in your imagination, of which this world of mortality is but a shadow. In the depths of your being, you know this to be true. You have always known it, though you may have forgotten. Tonight is not about learning something new, but about remembering what has always been true. Your spiritual gifts are not distant potentials to be developed. They are present realities to be recognized and expressed. Begin now. Choose a state that you desire to experience. Enter that state through the doorway of imagination. Assume its reality. Feel the fulfillment that would be yours if it were already manifest. Direct your attention to its reality and its absence. Speak internally from that state fulfilled. Give thanks for its manifestation. Forgive all that contradicts it. Enter the silence and know it as already yours in the only reality that truly matters, the reality of consciousness. Do this, and you will discover what the great ones of all ages have discovered. You are the operant power in your universe. You are not subject to conditions, but are the creator of conditions. You are limited only by your consciousness, and your consciousness can be transformed in a single moment through the conscious use of your spiritual gifts. This is the great awakening to which all spiritual teaching points, the recognition of yourself as pure consciousness, expressing itself through the vehicle of your human experience. In this recognition, you are freed from all limitation, all fear, all sense of separation. You know yourself as you truly are, imagination embodied, the eternal made flesh, the infinite expressed in finite form. Your spiritual gifts are the bridge between what appears to be and what truly is. Use them consciously, use them consistently, and watch as your world transforms before your eyes. Not by might, not by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord. The spirit that you are, the spirit that expresses through your imagination, your assumption, your attention, your inner speech, your gratitude, your forgiveness, and your silence. Go now in peace, but not as you came. Go with the awareness of who you truly are and the gifts that have always been yours. For in this awareness lies the power to transform not only your individual experience, but the collective experience of humanity. As you awaken to your true nature and express it consciously, you contribute to the awakening of all. Remember, the whole vast world is yourself pushed out. Change yourself and you change your world. This is the promise and the power of your spiritual gifts. Use them wisely, use them lovingly, use them now. In the silence of your own being, affirm, I am the power that creates my experience. I am the gift I have been seeking. I am that I am. And in this affirmation, know yourself as you truly are, not a seeker, but a finder, not a prisoner of circumstance, but the author of experience, not a human being having occasional spiritual experiences, but a spiritual being having a human experience. This is the truth that I leave with you tonight, not as a concept to be believed, but as a reality to be lived. For what is not lived is not truly known. Live from your spiritual gifts, express them consciously, and watch as the miracle of transformation unfolds in your experience. The world awaits your awakening. Your spiritual gifts are the means of that awakening. Use them now, use them consciously, and step into the life that has always been yours to live. A life of power, purpose, joy, and limitless possibility. For this is your birthright, your nature, your truth. I have spoken to you tonight, not as one who has attained something that you lack, but as one who recognizes in you what I have recognized in myself, the divine presence individualized but not separate, expressing through the spiritual gifts that are the very essence of our being. In recognizing this truth in yourself, you fulfill the purpose for which you came into being, to know yourself as God in expression, to experience the joy of conscious creation, to transform the world through the transformation of consciousness. Go forth and create deliberately, joyfully, lovingly. For in doing so, you fulfill your purpose and contribute to the awakening of all. This is the promise and the power of your spiritual gifts. They have always been yours. They will always be yours. Use them wisely, use them now, and watch as miracles unfold in your experience. Thank you for your attention, for your presence, for your willingness to remember who you truly are. We conclude tonight not with an ending, but with a beginning, the beginning of a new relationship with your spiritual gifts, and through them with all of life. May your journey be blessed with the joy of conscious creation and the peace that comes from knowing yourself as you truly are. For you see, the you that you believe yourself to be, that collection of memories, experiences, and self-imposed limitations is but a shadow of your true self. You are not the sum of your past experiences, nor are you defined by the opinions and judgments of others. You are, in truth, an infinite being of pure consciousness, temporarily clothed in the garment of human flesh. Let us begin by understanding that your current state of being, your present circumstances, are nothing more than the outpicturing of your past assumptions and beliefs. Every aspect of your life, from the state of your health to the balance of your bank account, is a direct reflection of the thoughts and beliefs you have accepted as true. But here's the liberating truth. You are not bound by these thoughts and beliefs unless you choose to be. Consider for a moment the nature of your thoughts. They come and go, fleeting and ephemeral like clouds passing across the sky of your consciousness. Yet how often do we cling to these thoughts, believing them to be the very fabric of our being? We say, I am poor. I am unlucky in love. I am not talented enough. As if these statements were immutable facts rather than transient beliefs. But I tell you now, with absolute certainty, that you are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind the thoughts, the silent observer that watches the parade of ideas marching through your mind. This awareness, this consciousness, is your true self, boundless, eternal, and filled with infinite potential. Let us delve deeper into this profound truth. When you say, I think, who is the I that is doing the thinking? Is it not something beyond the thought itself? This I is the true you, the being of pure awareness that exists prior to all thoughts and experiences. It is this I that we must learn to identify with, rather than the fleeting contents of our minds. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, if I am not my thoughts, then who am I? And to this I say, you are the very substance of God. For it is written in the scriptures, I and my Father are one. This is not mere poetic language, my friends, but the most profound truth of existence. The I am that you feel when you say I am is the very same I am that spoke the universe into being. Realize that every time you say I am, you are invoking the name of God. It is the creative power of the universe itself. So when you say I am poor, I am sick, I am unlucky, you are quite literally commanding the universe to manifest these conditions in your life. But oh, the glorious flip side of this truth. When you declare I am wealthy, I am healthy, I am blessed beyond measure, you are setting in motion the very forces of creation to bring these states into your experience. This, my dear listeners, is the crux of our discussion tonight. You are not what you think you are. You are what you believe yourself to be at the deepest level of your being. And this belief, this assumption, can be changed. You have the power here and now to choose a new concept of self, to select the version of you that you wish to be, and to live from that state until it becomes your reality. Let me share with you a secret that has transformed countless lives, the power of revision. You see, your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the outer world. This means that you have the ability to go back into your past, in your imagination, and relive events as you wish they had happened. By doing so, you are literally rewriting the script of your life, changing the trajectory of your present and future. Suppose you had an argument with a loved one earlier today. Instead of replaying the unpleasant scene in your mind, reinforcing the negative emotions and outcomes, choose instead to revise it. Close your eyes and imagine the scene playing out differently. See yourself responding with love and understanding. Feel the warmth of reconciliation and harmony. Do this with feeling, with the full intensity of your imagination, and watch as your outer world begins to reflect this new inner reality. This practice of revision is not mere wishful thinking or self-delusion. It is a recognition of the fluid nature of time and the malleable nature of reality itself. For time as we experience it in this three-dimensional world is but an illusion. All moments past, present, and future exist simultaneously in the eternal now. By changing your concept of the past, you are quite literally altering the substance from which your present and future are formed. Now I can sense that some of you may be struggling with this concept. You may be thinking, but Neville, I have tried positive thinking before, and nothing changed. To this I say, positive thinking alone is not enough. What is required is a complete shift in your state of consciousness. You must not merely think the thoughts of the person you wish to be. You must become that person in your imagination. This is where the power of assumption comes into play. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, when you live and move and have your being as if your desire were already a fact, you align yourself with the creative forces of the universe. Remember, your imagination is not a fantasy spinning faculty designed to escape reality. It is the very substance of reality itself, the God-given power to create and shape your world. Let me give you a practical example of how this works. Suppose you desire financial abundance. Instead of focusing on your current lack, or even on the process of acquiring wealth, you must assume the state of already being wealthy. How would you feel if you were already in possession of great wealth? How would you walk, talk, and carry yourself? What thoughts would occupy your mind? Leave from this state, persist in it, and watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match your inner assumption. This is not to say that you should neglect practical action, but understand that inspired action springs naturally from your assumed state of being. When you truly believe and feel yourself to be wealthy, you will find opportunities for increasing your wealth presenting themselves to you effortlessly. You will be inspired to take actions that align with your new self-concept, and these actions will bear fruit in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. Now let us address another crucial aspect of this teaching, the nature of your desires. Many of you have been taught that your desires are somehow separate from you, that they are things to be pursued and attained. But I tell you now, your desires are not external to you. They are the voice of God within you, calling you to express more of your true, divine nature. When you feel a burning desire for something, be it a loving relationship, a fulfilling career, or perfect health, know that this desire is not born of lack. It is, in fact, a preview of coming attractions. It is your higher self, your God self, calling you to step into a greater expression of who you truly are. The very presence of the desire is proof of its possibility. For how could you desire something that was not already yours on some level of being? This understanding liberates you from the anxious pursuit of your desires. Instead of chasing after them, you can rest in the calm assurance that what you desire desires you. Your role is simply to align your consciousness with the state of having already received your heart's desire. As you do this, you open yourself to receive the good that is already yours. Let us now turn our attention to the world around you. Many of you may look at the conditions of your life and the state of the world and feel discouraged. You may think, how can I possibly change my reality when there is so much evidence to the contrary? But I urge you to remember the world you see is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of past beliefs and assumptions. The outer world, in all its seeming solidity, is far more malleable than you might think. It is, in fact, infinitely responsive to your state of consciousness. When you change your concept of self, when you assume a new state of being, the entire universe moves to accommodate your new self-concept. This is not wishful thinking, my friends. This is the law by which worlds are framed. Consider the words of the prophet Isaiah, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. This is not merely poetic language, but a statement of cosmic law. Your inner world, your state of consciousness, is the cause, and the outer world is the effect. Change the cause and the effect must necessarily change. This understanding places a great responsibility upon your shoulders. For if you are the creator of your reality, then you must be willing to take full responsibility for every aspect of your life. No longer can you blame circumstances, other people, or fate for your conditions. But with this responsibility comes immense power. The power to reshape your world according to your highest ideals. Now, some of you may be wondering, if I am not what I think I am, if I am this infinite being of pure consciousness, why do I not experience this in my daily life? The answer lies in the power of habit and the nature of your attention. You have spent years, perhaps lifetimes, identifying with your limited self-concept. You have practiced the art of being small, of being less than you truly are. But just as you have practiced limitation, you can practice expansion. You can train yourself to identify with your true, infinite nature. This is the essence of spiritual practice. Not to become something you are not, but to realize and express what you have always been. One powerful way to do this is through the practice of meditation. Not the meditation of emptying your mind, but the meditation of filling your consciousness with awareness of your true nature. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and simply be aware of being aware. Feel the I am presence within you, that sense of existence that underlies all your experiences. As you do this regularly, you will find your identification shifting from the limited ego self to the infinite divine self. Another powerful practice is the use of affirmations, but not in the way they are commonly understood. Instead of repeating phrases by rote, feel the truth of the statements you make. When you say, I am wealthy, feel the reality of abundance coursing through your being. When you declare, I am loved, feel the warmth of divine love embracing you. Remember, it is not the words themselves that have power, but the feeling tone behind them. As you engage in these practices, you may encounter resistance. Old beliefs and habits may rise up, challenging your new understanding. This is natural and to be expected. Your ego self, that collection of beliefs and memories you have identified with for so long, will fight to maintain its existence. But remember, this resistance is not your true self. It is merely the dying gasp and outmoded concept of being. When you encounter this resistance, do not fight against it. Fighting only gives it power and reality. Instead, simply observe it with compassion and understanding. Know that it is nothing more than a passing cloud in the vast sky of your consciousness. As you persist in your new assumptions, as you continue to live from your desired state, these old patterns will gradually dissolve like mist before the rising sun. Now let us address a question that may be arising in some of your minds. If I am not what I think I am, if I am this infinite being, why do I experience limitations and challenges in my life? This is a profound question, and the answer lies in the purpose of your earthly existence. You see, you have chosen to incarnate in this three-dimensional reality for the purpose of experience and expression. Just as an actor takes on a role to express certain aspects of human experience, you have taken on this human form to explore the infinite possibilities of being. The limitations and challenges you face are not punishment or obstacles, but opportunities for growth and self-realization. When you encounter a challenge in your life, instead of seeing it as a problem to be solved, see it as an invitation to express more of your true divine nature. Every difficulty is an opportunity to remember who you really are, to shed the limitations of your assumed identity, and step into the fullness of your being. This understanding transforms your approach to life's challenges. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what aspect of my divine nature am I being called to express through this experience? This shift in perspective aligns you with the flow of life, opening you to receive the lessons and blessings inherent in every situation. Remember, my dear friends, that you are not separate from the creative power of the universe. You are that power individualized and made manifest. The entire universe exists within you, waiting to be explored and expressed. When you truly grasp this truth, when you live from this understanding, you become a conscious co-creator with God, shaping your reality according to your highest vision. Now let us delve even deeper into the nature of your being. You are not just a physical body, nor are you merely a collection of thoughts and emotions. You are consciousness itself, the awareness in which all experiences arise. This consciousness is not limited to your personal experiences. It is the very same consciousness that animates all of creation. When you realize this truth, you begin to see the divine in everything and everyone. The person sitting next to you, the tree outside your window, the stars in the night sky, all are expressions of the same consciousness that you are. This realization naturally gives rise to love, compassion, and a sense of unity with all of life. Living from this expanded state of consciousness does not mean you neglect your individual expression. On the contrary, it allows you to express your unique gifts and talents more fully. For when you know yourself as the infinite being that you are, you no longer fear judgment or failure. You are free to express yourself authentically, knowing that your individual expression is a vital and beautiful part of the cosmic dance. This understanding also transforms your relationships. When you see others as expressions of the same divine consciousness that you are, you naturally treat them with respect and kindness. You no longer need to manipulate or control others, for you recognize that their well-being is inseparable from your own. This is the basis of true love, not the needy, grasping love of the ego, but the expansive, unconditional love of your true nature. As you live from this expanded state of being, you will find that synchronicities and coincidences become more frequent in your life. This is because you are aligning yourself with the flow of universal intelligence. You begin to see the interconnectedness of all things, and you naturally flow with the currents of life rather than struggling against them. Now I want to address a common misconception about this teaching. Some of you may think that if you are not what you think you are, if your true nature is this infinite consciousness, then your individual personality and experiences don't matter. Nothing could be further from the truth. Your individual expression is how the infinite experiences itself in form. Your unique perspective, your talents, your desires, these are all valuable and necessary parts of the cosmic unfoldment. The key is to enjoy your individual expression while remembering your true nature. It's like an actor who fully embodies a role while never forgetting that they are acting. You can fully engage with your human experience, with all its joys and sorrows, while maintaining the awareness of your true, infinite nature. This balanced perspective allows you to play the game of life with zest and enthusiasm without becoming overly attached to outcomes. You can set goals and work towards them, knowing that the real joy lies not in achieving the goal itself, but in the expression and expansion of your being that the pursuit allows. As we near the conclusion of our discourse, I want to emphasize a crucial point. This teaching is not merely theoretical. It is meant to be lived, to be experienced in every moment of your daily life. It's not enough to intellectually understand that you are not what you think you are. You must live from this understanding, embody it in your thoughts, words, and actions. Start by questioning your habitual thoughts and beliefs. Whenever you catch yourself thinking, I can't, I'm not good enough, good in eating thought, pause and ask yourself, is this really true? Is this who I really am? Then consciously choose a thought that aligns with your true infinite nature. Practice seeing yourself and others through the eyes of your higher self. Look beyond the surface appearances, beyond the roles and identities, to the divine essence that underlies all forms. As you do this consistently, you will find your perception of the world transforming. What once seemed like problems or obstacles will reveal themselves as opportunities for growth and expression. Engage in activities that remind you of your true nature. This could be meditation, as we discussed earlier, or it could be anything that brings you into a state of flow: art, music, dance, or communing with nature. These activities can serve as doorways to the experience of your infinite self. Remember, my dear friends, that this journey of self-realization is not about becoming something you are not. It is about remembering and expressing what you have always been. You are not evolving towards some future state of perfection. You are perfect, whole, and complete right now. Your journey is one of unveiling, of removing the veils of illusion that have hidden your true nature from your awareness. As you live from this understanding, you will find your life transforming in ways you might never have imagined. Challenges that once seemed insurmountable will dissolve in the light of your expanded awareness. Opportunities that you never noticed before will present themselves. You will find yourself guided by an inner wisdom that far surpasses the limited reasoning of the ego mind. But perhaps the most beautiful transformation will be in your relationship with yourself and with life itself. As you recognize your true nature, you will naturally begin to treat yourself with more kindness and compassion. The harsh inner critic that many of you have lived with for so long will gradually be replaced by a voice of loving wisdom. You will also find a new appreciation for the simple joys of existence. The beauty of a sunset, the laughter of a child, the taste of good food. All of these will take on a new depth of meaning. You will realize that every moment is a miracle, an opportunity to experience and express the divine nature that you are. As we conclude our discourse on You Are Not What You Think You Are, I urge you to take this understanding into your daily life. Let it inform your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Remember that you are not limited by your past, by your circumstances, or by the opinions of others. You are an infinite being of pure consciousness, temporarily expressing yourself in human form. Embrace this truth. Live from it. Let it transform your world. For when you are true who you truly are, when you live from the state of your divine nature, there are no limits to what you be, do, or have. You are the creator of reality, the author of your life story. Write it boldly, live it fully, and watch as the world transforms before your eyes. Go forth, my dear friends, in the knowledge of your true nature. You are not what you think you are infinitely more. You are the very substance of God, expressing itself in human form. Live from this truth and watch as miracles unfold in your life. Remember, the kingdom of heaven is within you. It is not a place to be reached, but a state of consciousness to be realized and expressed. You are that kingdom, that power, that glory. Claim your divine inheritance. Live as the God being that you are. And so, with these words, I leave you to contemplate and embody this profound truth. You are not what you think you are. You are the infinite, eternal, boundless being of pure awareness. Know this, live this, and transform your world. Imagine, if you will, a world where everything you desire is already yours. A reality where the mere act of seeking is replaced by the knowing that what you wish for is already in your possession. This, my dear listeners, is not a fantasy, but the very nature of our being. In this grand theater of life, we often find ourselves caught in the endless pursuit of our desires. We chase after love, wealth, success, and happiness as if they were elusive butterflies, always just out of reach. But I say to you now with absolute certainty that this relentless seeking is the very thing that keeps us from our desires. The secret, the great mystery that has eluded so many, is that everything you could ever want or need already exists within you. It is not something to be found out there in the external world, but rather to be realized and awakened from within. Consider for a moment the nature of your own consciousness. Are you not the one who is aware of your thoughts, your feelings, and your desires? This awareness, this I am that you truly are, is the source of all creation. It is the God within you, the infinite intelligence that shapes the very universe we inhabit. When you say I am, you are invoking the name of God. For is it not written in the scriptures, be still and know that I am God? This stillness, this cessation of seeking is the key to unlocking the infinite potential that lies dormant within you. Let us delve deeper into this concept. When you seek something, you are affirming its absence in your life. You are telling the universe, I do not have this, and therefore I must search for it. But in doing so, you are creating the very lack you seek to overcome. Instead, I urge you to adopt a new approach. Rather than seeking, begin assuming. Assume that you already possess that which you desire. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the fulfillment that comes with having your wish fulfilled. For in truth, the moment you can feel it as real, it is yours. This is the law of assumption, the cornerstone of all creation. Whatever you assume to be true, whatever state you occupy in your imagination, must and will become your reality. The outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state of being. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Suppose you desire financial abundance. The common approach would be to work harder, to seek opportunities, to chase after wealth. But I say to you, assume the state of wealth now. Feel the security, the freedom, the joy that comes with financial abundance. Live from that state and watch as the outer world reshapes itself to match your inner conviction. You see, my friends, the world is not something separate from you. It is not an objective reality that exists independently of your consciousness. No, the world is you pushed out. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your life is but a reflection of your own state of consciousness. This is why seeking is futile. When you seek, you are pushing your desire away from you, projecting it into a future that never arrives. But when you assume the state of the wish fulfilled, when you live from the end, you draw your desire to you with the irresistible force of divine law. Now, some of you may be wondering, but Neville, how can I assume something to be true when my senses tell me otherwise? This, my dear listeners, is where the power of imagination comes into play. Your imagination is not some frivolous fantasy factory. It is the very workshop of creation. Whatever you can imagine and feel as real becomes real. This is creative power that was given to you at birth. The power to shape your world through the exercise of your imagination. When you close your eyes and imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire, you are not daydreaming. You are engaging in the most intense form of creation. You are planting a seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, a seed that must germinate and bear fruit in your outer world. But here's the crucial point. You must persist in this assumption. You must nurture that seed with the waters of faith and the sunlight of conviction. For a brief imaginal act is not enough to override years of contrary beliefs and assumptions. This is where many falter on the path. They glimpse the truth, they perform a single imaginal act, and they return to their old habits of thought and feeling. They slip back into the state of seeking, of lack, of separation from their desire. But I say to you now, with all the conviction of my being, that if you persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled, if you live from that state day and night, nothing in this world can prevent its manifestation. For you are not some helpless creature at the mercy of external forces. You are the operant power in your universe. You are the one who decides what state you will occupy and consequently what experiences you will encounter. Think of it this way. Every state of consciousness is like a room in a vast mansion. When you enter a room, you experience everything that belongs to that room. If you enter the room of poverty, you experience lack. If you enter the room of love, you experience love. The choice of which room to occupy is always yours. So why, ask you, would you choose to occupy a state of seeking when you could just as easily occupy the state of having? Why would you stand outside the room of your fulfilled desire, knocking and pleading for entry, when the door is already open and waiting for you to walk in? This, my friends, is the essence of the teaching I share with you today. Stop seeking, and it will come to you. For in truth, it is already yours. Your task is not to go out and find it, but to awaken to the reality of its presence within you. Now, I can sense that some of you may be struggling with this concept. You may be thinking, but Neville, I have bills to pay, problems to solve. How can I simply assume that all is well when my reality shows me otherwise? To this I say, your present circumstances are nothing more than the fruit of your past assumptions. They have no power to persist unless you continue to give them life through your attention and belief. Remember, the outer world always lags the inner world. What you see now in your physical reality is the shadow of past states of consciousness. But you have the power here and now to choose a new state. And as you persist in this new state, your outer world must conform to it. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is the application of cosmic law. Just as the law of gravity operates without fail, so too does the law of consciousness. Whatever state you occupy mentally and emotionally must be made manifest in your outer world. So I urge you, dear listeners, to make a fundamental shift in your approach to life. Instead of seeking, start embodying. Instead of chasing, start being. For you are already that which you desire to be. You are already whole, complete, and perfect. Your task is not to become something you are not, but to awaken to the truth of what you already are. You are the God of your universe, the creator of your reality. The power that you have sought in the external world has always resided within you. Now let us explore this concept further through the lens of various aspects of life. For this truth applies not just to material possessions, but to every facet of human experience. Consider the realm of relationships. So many people spend their lives seeking love, believing that there is a perfect partner out there somewhere, if only they could find them. But I say to you, the love you seek is already within you. When you assume the state of being loved, when you feel the joy and fulfillment of a perfect relationship, you align yourself with that reality. You begin to embody the qualities that attract love. You become a magnet for the very experiences you desire. The same principle applies to health and well-being. Instead of seeking healing, assume the state of perfect health. Feel the vitality coursing through your veins, the strength in your limbs, the clarity in your mind. Live from that state and watch as your body responds to this new assumption. In the realm of career and purpose, stop seeking your calling and start embodying it. Assume the state of someone who is living their passion, who is making a meaningful contribution to the world. Feel the satisfaction, the sense of purpose, the joy of using your unique gifts. As you persist in this state, opportunities will arise that align with your assumed reality. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, isn't this just self-deception? Am I not simply fooling myself into believing something that isn't true? To this I say, what you call truth is nothing more than a solidified assumption. Your current reality, which you accept as true, is simply the outcome of past assumptions that you have accepted and lived from. But you have the power at any moment to choose a new assumption and thus create a new reality. This is not self-deception. This is self-realization. This is awakening to your true nature as a creative being, as an individualized expression of the divine imagination that underlies all of creation. Consider the teachings of the great spiritual traditions. Did not the Christ say, The kingdom of heaven is within you? Did not the Buddha speak of the cessation of desire as the path to enlightenment? These are not mere poetic metaphors, but profound truths about the nature of reality and consciousness. When you stop seeking and start embodying, you are aligning yourself with this eternal wisdom. You are recognizing that the source of all fulfillment, all joy, all abundance is not something external to you, but the very essence of your being. This shift in perspective from seeking to embodying, from lack to fullness, is the most radical and transformative step you can take in your life. It is the key that unlocks the infinite potential that has always resided within you. But make no mistake, my dear friends, this is not a path for the faint of heart. It requires courage, persistence, and an unwavering faith in the unseen reality of your assumptions. The world will continue to present you with evidence that contradicts your new assumption. Your senses will report the lack, the limitation, the separation that you have known in the past. This is where your true test begins. Can you persist in your assumption in the face of contrary evidence? Can you hold fast to your vision of the wish fulfilled, even when the outer world seems to deny its reality? This is the mark of a true master, one who understands the nature of creation and refuses to be swayed by appearances. Remember, what you see in the outer world is nothing more than the shadow of past states of consciousness. It has no power to determine your future unless you give it that power through your attention and belief. So I say to you now, with all the conviction of my being, turn your attention away from the world of shadows. Cease your endless seeking in the realm of effects. Instead, turn within to the realm of cause, to the infinite creative power of your own imagination. For it is here, in the realm of pure possibility, that you will find all that you have ever sought. It is here that you will discover the truth of your being, the limitless potential that is your birthright. Imagine, if you will, a world where everyone understood this truth. A world where people no longer sought happiness, love, or success in the external world, but recognized these qualities as the very essence of their being. What kind of world would we create? I tell you now, it would be nothing short of paradise on earth. For when each individual realizes their true nature as the creator of their reality, when each person assumes responsibility for their state of consciousness, the entire world is transformed. This is the great work that lies before us. Not to change the world through external action, but to change it from within, through the power of our assumptions and the creative force of our imagination. And so, my dear friends, I urge you once again, stop seeking, and it will come to you. For in truth, it has always been yours. Your task is not to acquire, but to awaken. Not to become, but to realize. Not to find, but to remember. Let go of the habit of seeking. Release the belief in lack and limitation. Abandon the idea that what you desire is separate from you or difficult to attain. Instead, assume the state of the wish fulfilled. Lead from the end. Be that which you desire to be. As you do this, you will find that the very things you once sought so desperately begin to flow into your life with effortless ease. For you are no longer pushing them away through your seeking, but drawing them to you through the magnetic power of your assumption. This is the law of reversal, the great secret that has been hidden in plain sight throughout the ages. When you cease to seek, you begin to find. When you let go of the chase, your desire chases you. When you stop trying to make things happen, things begin to happen of their own accord. But remember, this is not a passive state of inaction. It is the most profound and powerful form of action there is. For you are acting on the causal level of reality, shaping the very substance of creation through the power of your consciousness. Your every thought, your every feeling, your every assumption is a creative act. You are constantly shaping your world through the states you occupy. So choose wisely, my friends. Choose the states that align with your highest vision for yourself and for the world. Assume the best of yourself and others. Assume abundance, love, health, and joy. Assume that the universe is working in your favor. that every experience is a stepping stone to your greater good. For as you assume, so shall it be. This is the promise and the challenge that I lay before you today. It is a call to awaken to your true nature, to step into your power as the creator of your reality. It is an invitation to stop seeking and start being, to cease chasing and start embodying. The choice, as always, is yours. You can continue to live in the old way, seeking endlessly for that which has always been within you. Or you can embrace this new understanding, this timeless wisdom, and begin to live from the state of the wish fulfilled. I urge you, with all the love and conviction in my heart, to choose the latter. For when you do, you will discover a freedom and a joy beyond anything you've ever known. You will tap into the infinite creative power that is your true nature. You will become a conscious co-creator with the divine, shaping your world in accordance with your highest vision. And as you do this, as you live from this expanded state of consciousness, you will find that life becomes an endless adventure of self-discovery and creation. The very challenges that once seemed insurmountable become opportunities for growth and expression. The limitations that once bound you dissolve in the light of your newfound understanding. For you are not a mere mortal, struggling against the forces of an indifferent universe. You are a divine being, a creative force, an individualized expression of the infinite intelligence that underlies all creation. And when you truly realize this, when you live from this truth, there is nothing in this world that can stand against you. So go forth, my dear friends, with this new understanding. Let go of the habit of seeking. Embrace the truth of your being. Live from the state of the wish fulfilled. And watch as the world transforms itself to match your inner vision. Remember, the power is within you. The kingdom is at hand. The door is open. All that remains is for you to walk through it, to claim your divine inheritance, to step into the fullness of your being. Stop seeking, and it will come to you, for it has always been yours, waiting only for you to recognize and claim it. This is the eternal truth, the great secret, the divine mystery revealed. Embrace it, live it, become it, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. And so, my dear listeners, as we draw this discourse to a close, I want you to take a moment to reflect on what we've explored together. Feel the truth of these words resonating within you. Allow them to sink deep into your consciousness, to take root in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. For it is from this place of deep knowing that true transformation occurs. It is here, in the quiet depths of your being, that you will find the strength and the courage to live this truth, to embody this wisdom in every aspect of your life. Remember, the journey we've embarked upon today is not a destination to be reached, but a new way of being to be lived. It is a continuous unfolding, a perpetual discovery of the infinite potential that resides within you. As you go forth from this place, carry with you the knowledge that you are the creator of your reality. Let every thought, every feeling, every assumption be a conscious choice, aligned with your highest vision for yourself and for the world. And when you find yourself slipping back into old habits of seeking, of striving, of chasing after your desires, gently remind yourself of this truth, seeking, and it will come to you. For in that moment of letting go, of surrendering to the wisdom of your true self, you open yourself to receive all that you have ever desired and more. Trust in this process, my friends. Have faith in the unseen reality or assumptions. For it is this faith, this unwavering conviction in the creative power of your consciousness, that will carry you through any challenge and bring forth the manifestation of your deepest desires. You are the miracle you've been waiting for. You are the answer to your own prayers. You are the fulfillment of your own prophecy. Embrace this through this understanding. As from this axiom perfect to alignment with your inner state. And so with deep love and profound gratitude, I leave you with these final words. Be still and know that you are God. For in this stillness, in this cessation of seeking, you will find all that you have ever sought and more. The power is within you, always has been, and always will be. It is not something to be acquired, but something to be realized and expressed. As you leave this gathering today, I challenge you to put these principles into practice. Begin with something small, something that feels within reach. Assume the state of already having it, feeling the joy and gratitude of its possession. Then, watch and wait. Be patient, but expectant. For the seed you have planted in the fertile soil of your imagination must grow and bear fruit in its appointed hour. Remember, the time it takes for your assumption to become your physical reality is directly proportional to the naturalness of the state. The more natural it feels to you, the quicker it will manifest. So persist in your assumption until it feels as natural as breathing. And as you begin to see the fruits of your assumptive work, as your outer world begins to reflect the changes in your inner world, you will gain confidence in this process. You will begin to tackle larger desires, grander visions, for there is no limit to what you can be, do, or have when you align yourself with the creative power of your imagination. But I caution you, do not embark on this journey for the mere accumulation of things. While there is nothing inherently wrong with material possessions, they are not the ultimate aim of this practice. The true purpose of this work is the expansion of your consciousness, the realization of your divine nature, the expression of your highest self. As you master the art of assumption, as you learn to live from the state of the wish fulfilled, you will find that your desires begin to change. The things that once seemed so important may lose their allure. You may find yourself drawn to higher pursuits, to more expansive visions, to goals that serve not just your individual self, but all of humanity. This is the natural progression of consciousness. As you awaken to your true nature as a creative being, you begin to align yourself with the greater good, with the divine plan for creation. Your individual will merges with the universal will, and you become a conscious co-creator with the divine. In this state of expanded awareness, you will find that life becomes an endless adventure of self-discovery and creation. Every moment becomes an opportunity for growth, for expression, for the manifestation of your highest vision. You will begin to see the divine in all things, to recognize the interconnectedness of all life. The barriers that once seemed to separate you from others will dissolve, and you will experience a profound sense of unity with all of creation. This, my dear friends, is the ultimate aim of the practice we have discussed today. It is not just about getting what you want, but about becoming who you truly are. It is about awakening to your divine nature, about realizing your oneness with the source of all creation. So as we conclude our time together, I urge you once again, stop seeking and it will come to you. For in that cessation of seeking, in that stillness of being, you will find all that you have ever desired and more. You will discover the truth of your being, the limitless potential that is your birthright. Go forth now, not as seekers, but as finders, not as wanting, but as having, not as becoming, but as being. For you are already complete, already whole, already perfect. Your task is simply to awaken to this truth and to live from it in every moment. Let your life be a testament to this wisdom. Let your very being radiate the truth of who you are. For as you do, you become a light in this world, a beacon of hope, an inspiration for all who cross your path. And remember, no matter what challenges you may face, no matter what obstacles may arise, you have within you the power to overcome. For you are not a mere mortal subject to the whims of fate. You are a divine being, a creative force, an individualized expression of the infinite intelligence that underlies all of creation. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding. And watch as your world transforms in ways you never thought possible. My dear friends, it has been my great joy and privilege to share this truth with you today. As we part ways, know that I carry each of you in my heart. I see the divine in you, the infinite potential that is your true nature. And I know with absolute certainty that as you apply these principles in your life, you will experience a transformation beyond your wildest dreams. So go now with love in your heart and faith in your step. Go forth and create the life you desire. Go forth and be the person you are meant to be. Go forth and realize the truth of your being. For you are the creator of your reality. You are the master of your fate. You are the author of your story. And the power to write that story exactly as you wish lies within you, waiting only to be recognized and expressed. Stop seeking, and it will come to you. This is the promise and the challenge I leave you with today. Embrace it, live it, become it, and watch as your life unfolds in perfect harmony with your highest vision. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you for your attention, for your openness, for your willingness to explore these profound truths. May your journey be filled with joy, with discovery, with the realization of your deepest desires. And may you always remember the truth of who you are, a divine being, infinite in potential, boundless in creativity, eternal in nature. Go now and be at peace, for all that you seek is already within you, waiting only to be recognized and expressed. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and you have taken that step today. The rest of the journey lies before you, filled with infinite possibilities and boundless potential. Remember the world as you pushed out. What you see around you is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state. So cultivate beauty within, and you will see beauty without. Cultivate love within, and you will experience love without. Cultivate abundance within, and you will manifest abundance without. As you leave this gathering and return to your daily lives, carry with you this knowing you are not separate from your desire. You are one with it. It is not something to be sought, but something to be assumed. It is not something to be achieved, but something to be realized. In every moment you have a choice. You can choose to live from the old state of seeking and wanting, or you can choose to live from the new state of having and being. The choice is yours. And it is a choice you make in every moment of every day. Choose wisely, my friends. Choose to live from the end. Choose to embody the state of your wish fulfilled. For as you do, you align yourself with the creative forces of the universe. And nothing can prevent the manifestation of your desire. And if you find yourself faltering, if you find the old habits of thought and feeling creeping back in, do not despair. Simply recognize it for what it is, an old pattern, a familiar groove, and gently guide your thoughts and feelings back to the state of the wish fulfilled. This is not a battle to be won, but a dance to be danced. It is not about forcing yourself to think positive thoughts, but about aligning yourself with the truth of your being. It is about remembering who you really are and living from that remembrance. As you practice this, as you make it your daily habit to assume the state of the wish fulfilled, you will find that it becomes easier and more natural. What once required effort will become effortless. What once seemed impossible will become inevitable. For you are not changing who you are, but remembering who you have always been. You are not becoming something new, but awakening to your true nature. You are not acquiring something you lack, but recognizing the fullness that is already within you. This, my dear friends, is the great adventure that lies before you. It is an adventure of self-discovery, of self-realization, of self-expression. It is an adventure that will take you to the very heights of human potential and beyond. So embrace it with all your heart. Dive into it with all your soul. For in this adventure lies the key to all that you have ever desired and more. In this journey of awakening, you will find not just the fulfillment of your individual desires, but the realization of your oneness with all of creation. And as you walk this path, know that you do not walk alone. The entire universe conspires to support you in your awakening. Every experience, every encounter, every seeming obstacle is but an opportunity for growth, for expansion, for the expression of your true nature. So go forth with courage, with faith, with the unshakable knowing that all is well. For you are the creator of your reality, the master of your fate, the author of your story. And the pen with which you write that story is the power of your assumption. Assume greatness, and you will experience greatness. Assume love, and you will know love. Assume abundance, and you will live in abundance. For what you assume, you become. What you embody, you experience. What you are, you attract. This is the law of consciousness, the principle upon which all creation rests. It is not something to be learned, but something to be lived. It is not a technique to be mastered, but a truth to be embodied. So embody it, my friends, live it, be it. For in doing so, you fulfill your divine purpose. You express your true nature. You become who you were always meant to be. And in that becoming, you light up the world. You become a beacon of hope, a source of inspiration, a living testament to the transformative power of consciousness. So go now with my blessings and my love. Go and create the life you desire. Go and be the person you are meant to be. Go and realize the truth of your being. For you are not just a seeker of truth, but truth itself. You are not just a dreamer of dreams, but the very substance from which dreams are made. You are not just a child of God, but God individualized, God in expression, God made manifest. Embrace this truth. Live from this understanding and watch as your world transforms in perfect harmony with your highest vision. Stop seeking and it will come to you, for it has always been yours, waiting only for you to recognize and claim it. This is the eternal truth, the great secret, the divine mystery revealed. Go now and be at peace, for all is well in your world. All is unfolding according to the divine plan, and you are an integral part of that plan, a unique and irreplaceable expression of the divine. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you for your presence, for your openness, for your willingness to explore these profound truths. May your journey be filled with joy, with discovery, with the realization of your deepest desires. And may you always remember the truth of who you are, a divine being, infinite in potential, boundless in creativity, eternal in nature. Go forth and live from this truth, and watch as miracles unfold in your life. For the greatest miracle of all is not something that happens to you, but the realization of who you truly are. And in that realization lies the fulfillment of all your desires and more. Go in peace, my friends. Go in love. Go in the knowing that you are the creator of your reality, the master of your fate, the author of your story. And may your story be one of joy, of love, of the full expression of your divine nature. For in the end, that is what this journey is all about. It is not about getting, but about being. It is not about achieving, but about realizing. It is not about becoming, but about remembering who you have always been. Remember this truth, live from this understanding, and watch as your world transforms in ways you never thought possible. For you are the miracle you've been waiting for. You are the answer to your own prayers. You are the fulfillment of your own prophecy. Embrace this truth, embody this wisdom, and go forth to create the life of your dreams. For it is your divine right, and your sacred duty to do so. Thank you, and may your journey be blessed with all that you desire and more.